Hail, bird of prey. 5. Hail, Karuga.
Qapla!
Qapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karuga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. That means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird o' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Bird o' Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to Bed Life for June 24th, 2024. It is a Monday, and we have a serious case of the Mondays here at in Bed Life. It's been a hectic weekend, but also a blessing in a way, a unfortunate blessing, as blessings go. We were not planning on seeing Nephew O'Prey and Sis O'Prey because it was Nephew O'Prey's 4th birthday, and they had stuff planned. We got to see him last weekend, and but as it turned out, the neighbor, the house that adjoins the house Sis O'Prey lives in, the house is being prepared for being sold, and the people that are taking care of it are as having the wooden floors redone, and as it turned out, the day that they had the people in and had to put down the chemicals to reseal all the wooden floors, was also the day of Charlie's birthday party, and she got home to a house that she thought, "Oh my God, did somebody fumigate this house while she was gone?" And luckily, but it turned out no, nobody was in her house, but just by virtue of being literally so close in the same in the same structure as the house that had its floors done. And it was just a chemical odor so awful, so bad that in the middle of the night she had to get out of there. And at 4 in the morning yesterday, we got the news that she was just minutes away. And it was a blast to see Nephew Prey on his birthday. And I actually, at 4 in the morning, my brain was functional enough to say, uh-oh, you know what, you better order at least something to have him open on his actual birthday. And so I did put in an Amazon order, and we had quite the amount of silly putty eggs. And it was a variety pack. It was a 12-pack variety pack. I ordered 2. So we had 24 eggs of silly putty, most of which the color matches the egg. But Nephew O'Prey was not happy with the red silly putty egg. And if you want to understand why, well, just think, every color of the egg matches the color of silly putty. But the red egg, for those of you who, are my age and older, of course, you all know that the original color of silly putty was kind of pink, and it always came in a red egg. And that's indeed what they kept in the red egg, is the original silly color putty. So there is no red silly putty, apparently, because the red egg already taken. The blue egg, the green egg, the yellow egg, the pink egg, hell, even silver and gold eggs. But no, the red egg, just the original silly color. And so Nephew O'Prey enjoyed his silly putty for the second time. I had sent him silly putty as a gift also earlier in the week, but that was 2 very large eggs that had the equivalent of 10 small eggs of silly putty in them. So I always enjoyed some silly putty. There was, in hindsight, it's absolutely disgusting, but there was an entire semester, half a year, while in junior high, where I found some silly putty. How do I know it was silly putty and not just dried bubble gum? Well, only to the fact that it was clearly still silly putty days and weeks later. If it had been chewed gum, it would have fallen apart. But I'll be honest, it was a couple of days before I realized it was silly putty. I didn't know what material I was working with in my hands at the time, but it was it clearly had to become, it was silly putty, and it was just big enough that you could make it into a bullet or a ball. And so that's what I would do. I'd be at school and class was going on, and I'd kind of, play with it. I'd play with it. It's like instead of uh, instead of doodling, I used to doodle a lot on on uh, on my papers because I'd get bored. But I had the silly putty, so that was fun. I would see, when we would get um, photocopies and stuff from the teacher, I would of course put it down and see if I could copy it onto the silly putty. And sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. But I say after a few weeks, and God knows how whoever was using the silly putty before me, because like I said, I found it. I didn't buy it. I should have bought one. And years later, I used to buy silly putty all the time and try to keep it for an entire semester. But at that point, I would. It never worked out. It never worked out like it did this time, where I found it. It wasn't even in an egg. It was just laying somewhere. After Deep Space Nine started, I used to think about it like I had just found Odo, and didn't know what the hell it was, and I was like playing with it, and like eventually, if I had found out it was a changeling or something, that's what it would have been like to me. But yeah, how did we get on? Oh, silly putty. So I've always had a sweet spot in my heart for silly putty. Um, ever since that time in junior high school, um, and over the years, I used to buy so much silly putty, and then they had the different colors, and I would mix them together. And the very first day, when you mixed all the colors of the silly putty together, it was fantastic because they would all keep their colors, and so you would have layers and layers of rainbows, and it was beautiful. But by the very next day, all the rainbows, all the rainbows would disappear. All the colors would mix, and regardless of whatever colors you started with, you had brown. All of the colors, no matter which colors you mix together, if you mix together enough of the silly putty colors, you end up with just a big brown lump of silly putty. And you know what a big brown lump of silly putty looks like? You all know what it looks like. It looks like that 99-cent Super Poop super sticker from John Araki. Thank you, John Araki.
Indications negative
for
at
your
this time.
99-cent Super Poop super sticker. Look at that segue. Look at that segue. LDG Free the Net, first in the chat, says yo. Mike Richards says greetings from Columbus, Ohio. And LDG says happy Deej Day. Yes, it is. It is Farmer Day today on Monday, June 24th. And it's Deej Day. Even though Deej, unfortunately, well, fortunately maybe for him, is working as a bartender, not a farmhand at the moment. But It's a day to remember the deeds. And his second life as a farmer. Gorilla's random thoughts, says Qapla. I'll be listening, but also keeping an eye on the news as the rapid dam is about to collapse. I am so sorry to hear that, Gorilla. And I did bring it up on the news. And yes, it is about to collapse. An hour ago, CNN was showing pictures, and it is bad.
Captain's log, stardate
If I lived
74141.
downtown of the
Our best
dam,
estimates place us
I
some
would
4 hours
certainly,
from Earth.
downstream of the dam, I would certainly be ready to leave. Maybe just leave now. And John Araki with another 99-cent super poop super sticker. Thank you. And first one got eyebrow Dax, and second one got Captain Kirk slapping himself silly. John Araki says, always remember to subscribe, ring the bell, and don't forget the hawk push that like button. Hulk smash that like button, maybe. LDD free the net puts in 4 alpacas and a general chain. John Araki says hashtag Mamopray 2024. Yvette says good evening, Bird and everyone. Good evening to the lovely Yvette. John Meyer says Farmer's Day. That's me. Bow before my peasantry. Bow before my peasantry. Lowell. Welcome, farmers. Welcome, John. Farmer John. Welcome, Farmer John. Mike Richards says tall words, proudly saying, happy birthday, Charlie. Oh, thank you, Mike Richards. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Yes, a happy birthday from Columbus, Ohio. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. The Random Menace is greetings from the future. Greetings, Random Menace. John Myers says, silly putty refuses to go communist. That's true. You know, hi, Charlie.
What did you go? What did you want to say in people language, not dog language?
Charlie's pretending he's a dog at the moment.
But he was coming over to say thank you.
Oh, you want to say thank you, Charlie? Woof. You've got to come on this side. You want to talk into the mic? Yeah. I'm talking to the microphone.
But say thank you in real voice.
Well,
that's not thank you.
They can't understand you.
They don't understand doggy. They understand people.
English. Sados of Studos. What the hell does that even mean, Charlie?
Can you get water? Yes, you can get water. You got water.
So at 4 a.m, I was about to order a second toy so we could get free shipping. And I was like, oh, a slinky. I was like, that would be cool. I bet nephew will pray. I don't think he just has a slinky. And then I thought about it. Wait, that would mean the only place to play with a slinky is on the stairs. And I realized that that would probably not be the right place, considering in my house, the only stairs we have go to the basement and not like to a second story or something. So we don't want him playing on the basement steps for various reasons. So yeah, I nixed the idea of the slinky. Um, maybe for his house, but not for this house. Um, Stanley says, "Did it get stiffer when you squeezed it?" Actually, Stanley, it would get less stiff when I squeezed it because body heat warmed it up. Captain Fandom Nerd says hello. Hello, Captain. Stanley says, me too. Not so much after I turned 40. Mike Richards says, never play with your ball in class. John Myers says, Stanley, that's a very personal question. Stanley says, but never during class. That's just plain. That's just sick. The random answer is as long as it's silly putty and not silly potty. No, it was putty. Although it was brown. Stanley says, why could some puffy pick up color comic strips, but some only give you black and white? I have never seen any silly putty successfully pick up a color comic strip. But my guess is it wasn't the silly putty; it was the ink. It was the ink. The way they did it. Now they could all do black and white. I had never seen even the Sunday comics. They couldn't do it, and they certainly couldn't do a color comic book. Like that was just, or a magazine. That magazine print was way too good. Yeah, and like I said, even the cheap color of like the Sunday comic, there was my favorite comic, my favorite my favorite newspaper growing up in New York City. There used to have three different, used to have at least three different papers. There was the New York Times, which, I'm sorry, it was for losers, intellectual losers. There was the Daily News, which was kind of like your blue collar paper, like most New Yorkers read the Daily News, and the New York Post, but the Post was it had it had a reputation as kind of being just a little bit above like the Inquirer. Not a whole lot of love for the New York Post. And then there was New York Newsday. Newsday was more well known as a Long Island newspaper, but New York Newsday was the Brooklyn, Queens version and New York City version of this Long Island paper. And the thing about New York Newsday was that while all the other, at the time, all the other newspapers were strictly black and white. Okay, this is before the New York Times, before the Daily News, and before the New York Post, before any of them had any color whatsoever. New York Newsday was full color, first page, full color cover page. But that was it. Inside was all black and white. But a color cover was fucking amazing. And the logo was in blue, and it was a bold blue New York Newsday. Great, and its tagline was truth, justice, and the comics. Truth, justice, and the comics. And it had Garfield, it had Gilbert, and it had The Far Side, and it had all the good comics. It had BC, the guy, the Viking guy or whatever, or I guess he was kind of weird. Was he just an Iceman? I always took him to be a Viking, but now I think about it, he wasn't a Viking. He was a an Iceman, basically. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, he wasn't. He was not really a Viking. He was what's that called? Uh, yeah, hairy, not quite human. Um, not Neosporin. God damn it. My brain is broken today, guys, because I got terrible sleep last night. For reasons. Neo. Hagar the Horrible. Yeah, Stanley. What is that though? They're not quite humans. They're not quite human. They're one step below us on the evolutionary chain, with an N. And Hagar the Horrible was a Viking. Okay, so I was confusing him with the oh God. I'll figure it out. Captain Phantom Nerd says hello. 47 Yorktown put in a poop emoji when we were talking about John Araki's second poop. John Araki says one more for the hell of a Sieg. Bravo, sir. The bird doesn't know about the hawk tush girl. Bird doesn't know about the hawk tush girl yet. I have no idea what we're talking about there. Mike Richards is silly putty. Don't taste the rainbow. Alex Bogey says Qapla. Stanley says Slinkies are a lie. Slinkies are a lie. They don't work. It's all camera editing tricks. Nep rolls downstairs. And Dr. Scotty says confirmed Bird doesn't want Charlie to discover the Karogan future, the Karogan torture chambers down the basement stairs. Now that's it. Neanderthal. Neanderthal. Thank you, Mike Richards. Last son of K. Stanley. Yes. Balrog Barf. Yes, Neanderthal. That's who the comic was. It was a Neanderthal. And that was BC. BC was the comic with the Neanderthal. Hagar the Horrible was the Viking. It takes me a minute, but we figure it out. Keely Chow says, hey, everybody, what's going on? Just trying to remember back to the good old days when people still read newspapers. So anyway, talking about newspapers, which, we're already on a tangent. We might as well just continue this tangent. My favorite newspaper is New York Newsday. Unfortunately, as the 80s turn into the 90s and the 90s turn into the noughts, New York Newsday ceases to print. They are the very first newspaper in the New York City newspaper market to go under. New York Newsday stops printing, and we are left with only the Daily News, the Post, and the New York Times. And very quickly, the Daily News, the Times, and the Post all get color. At least like at first, like the New York Newsday did, where it was just the outside wrapping. So you would have colors on the first page. But then I think they all eventually went to color pretty much anywhere they needed it. But none of them had the collection of the comics that New York Newsday had. So, and then worse is that the Daily News, they started having contests, like scratch off contests and contests where you try to find a $1 bill with a very specific let's say Social Security number, serial number. like every dollar bill, every bill, every $100 bill, $50 bill, whatever it is, $20 bill, $5, $10 bill. They all have a specific serial number on it. And so there was like, you try to find the serial number, but whatever, they did one, so they basically did contests where you were basically doing a scratch off ticket. And then came this thing where they put out, they basically did their own lottery. And I remember from Mama Pray, this would have been, I don't know, somewhere between 2000 and 2001 or 2002, I believe. This was a time, maybe it was even a little later, but she was really, I don't know how to put it, but in a really bad financial situation. And to the point where I was helping her. I was doing great. I had an awesome job, and I didn't mind helping out Mama Pray, and I did, and I was helping her out financially, and I know this was weighing on her. She didn't want to feel like a burden to her kids, and but to me, I didn't, I couldn't have minded it in the least, but she didn't like it, but whatever. It was happening, and she had, I knew she had debts that I didn't even know about. And it was a time when she really, really could have used some extra money. And the newspaper published the winning numbers. And sure enough, and she called me and she looked and I looked. I double checked it. She double checked it. Okay, well, this is why we do not get too excited. Even before, this is before I had gotten sick. I was, normal. I was walking, I was working, but we don't get too excited in this family because something always goes wrong. So this was Mama Pray. The numbers came up. We looked. By all accounts, she won the grand prize. She won the grand prize. It was at least something like $150,000. And we're like, okay, well, it's the weekend. Got to wait to call in till Monday to claim it. But by all accounts, Mama Pray had $150,000 prize in her hand. And then by later that day, dozens of people had won the grand prize. Family members out in Long Island also thought they had won the same grand prize. And as it turned out, the New York Daily News fucked up. They fucked up. They Alex Boggy with a $1.99 super chat says, thanks for having my back on Nerd Fights. Qapla, Alex. I'll be honest, Alex. I checked in on Nerd Fights, and I said a couple of things, and I ended up leaving Nerd Fights because I felt bad, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to seem like I didn't want to seem petty. I left. I I wasn't interested in the topic at the time. So uh, apologies to Salty. I hope he enjoyed his stream, but well, also, I mean, if this was the other day, I had to stream myself. Uh, so I literally couldn't be there at that time. Um, um, you know, yeah, Friday I couldn't. Friday was my stream, so he 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 started streaming at 5 minutes before my normal stream time on Friday. So that was Nerd Fights. So I assume that's today. Um, Sunday, Sunday, I, uh, I couldn't. I was there for a little bit, but I was busy, so I couldn't stay for the entirety. But Sunday is not Nerd Fights. Sunday is church life. So, um, mm, uh, Stan Lee says, I swear I had silly putty that could pick up color newsprint. Maybe you did. I didn't. I guess the way the news was printed here, I think was the problem. But some only picked up black and white. For me, everyone picked up black and white newspaper, but none picked up black and white comic book or regular book ink for that matter, because it had to be, it would pick up laser pointer if like if it was a laser a laser pointer that I could get it to pick up. Maybe I don't know. I forget if like an inkjet, if the color or black ink would come up or not. I would imagine that a color inkjet would probably have worked. Dr. Scotty says I could do it when I was younger. Granted, that was back in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, I don't think it was so much, your technique as just the ink available at the time. Stanley says, yeah, the same cheap newspapers would come off on your hands. Stan Lee says, maybe I'm wrong, but I could have sworn one brand of putty would do color. Alex Bogey, is anyone here a soccer fan? Not me. Well, I mean, I've watched an occasional soccer game. And, when the World Cup is going on, I would say it's even a bit exciting, but not not a fan, and that I have no idea the names of any famous soccer players. So Stanley says we are easily abused. Wow, color newspaper. Hey, there was a time, Stanley, when newspapers were just solid black and white, and the first the change over to color, was a big deal, right? We forget this. We forget this. I mean, now everybody gets videos, and it's hard. You have to do work to find a place that you can read the news in the morning still. They want your news to be in video bites. Now, if you want morning news, you're gonna get it in a video. That's what they're gonna send it, or lots of small videos, more than likely. If you just want to read the news, that's hard now. And there's going to still be videos, but those videos will be playing in the background as ads, as advertisements. Alex Bogey says, Stan, I think we've run out of novelties since internet got fast. Yeah. Yeah. Alex Bogey says, I wish I could get into comics, just don't like the kabooms in the pictures. Gilly Chow is saying hello to Captain Phantom Nerd, who says hello back. Captain, I tried to check for you during Doomcock's stream. I was going to ask Doomcock to sing you a song, since you've always been so kind, and you more than once have asked Doomcock to sing me a song. I was trying to return the favor, but on Friday, the few times I checked, I tried to do at Captain Phantom Nerd. It wasn't showing you there, so I didn't want to bring you up if you weren't in the stream. Captain Phantom Nerd says hello to Keely Chow, who said hello to him. Alex Bogey says, I still look at newspapers at gas stations to see what normies are talking about. Are there still newspapers at gas stations? Alex Bogey says, I still look at newspapers. Stanley says, would people steal the page from every copy? Bird bringing home the bread. I don't know. Maybe they would. Alex Bogey, again with the $1.99. Thank you again, Alex. Stan Lee, those stream wars. Alex Bogey says, which topic was too much for you? I was talking the church life stuff on Sunday. Pretty much all of it. I'm done at the whole religious homes. I feel bad. I don't want to turn everything into a religious fight. Captain Phantom Nerd says, I always listen on replay. I go there for pre-show to ask. Ah, gotcha, Captain. Last on the case is, yeah, I grew up with color comic strips in the Sunday newspapers, but it was a big deal when they started printing photographs in color on the daily newspaper. Yeah, it was a big deal. Hakeem says, hello, bird, and all Qapla Hakeem. And Kitty Bear with a 99-cent happy face with shades, happy shades, super sticker. Thank you, Kitty Bear. Alex Bogey says, Stanley, exactly. Stream Wars could bring some new energy and excitement. I wish I had some energy and excitement. Hakeem says, the only reason I've ever brought a newspaper was for the comic. Mike Richards is ignored by Bird. Mike Richards, were you ignored by me? My bad, Mike Richards. My bad. Obviously, I would never intentionally ignore you, Mike Richards. Let me go up. Let me see if I can find it.
We try for 15 minutes.
Alex Bogey says, in Savannah, Georgia, there are newspapers at every fancy gas station. Huh. Okay. Let's see. Where is Mike Richards? Mike Richards says Neanderthal. I thanked everybody for the Neanderthals a few minutes ago. I read those way out of order, Mike Richards, and I thanked the people for it. Silly putty, don't taste the rainbow. I thought I said that. I certainly read it to myself. I had certainly read it to myself. If I didn't say it, I apologize. But yes, silly putty, do not taste the rainbow. The rainbow tends towards brown, which is weird because if you look at all the colors on a rainbow, brown isn't one of them. And it's surprising because you're thinking every color that could possibly exist exists on a rainbow, but not for brown. So, well, I always assumed that the brown is somewhere in the reds. And even though I couldn't see it, that clearly it had to be there in the reds somehow. But no, it's, as it turns out, brown does not appear on the rainbow. It's weird like that.
Okay, we made a deal. You go inside, take out the rest for 15 minutes. If you don't fall asleep, then you have to make you come back.
Okay, Charlie, you're gonna go in. You're gonna try and rest. Mike Richards says, okay, I'll come back to that. Kitty Bear says, we need more Disney style writing everywhere. I can't help but laugh at all the funny YouTube reviews. Alex Bogey says, well, Salty likes to debate. and I got a soccer season now, so I need someone to pick up slack. Mike Richards says, I wrote, and that's when I burned down the newspaper building, Your Honor. Mike Richards, that did not come through. That did not come through. Last Son of K says the Sunday papers were important to get weekly for long form reported news stories, and the comics, of course. But now they're a joke. Almost 90% ads and ad flyers, very little content. Alex Bogey says, Mike Richards, next time you get bored, put men in timeout to get Bird's attention. And Mike Richards is lolling. No problem. I honestly don't see anywhere where you wrote that, Mike Richards.
I'll do that.
I assume it's somewhere just north of ignored by Bird. But if you can put in, I don't know if you have the time you did it, like the timestamp, like the timestamp for me for ignored by Bird was 4:51 p.m. and the timestamp for the I wrote quote, and that's when I burned down the newspaper building, Your Honor, end quote. That timestamp was 4:54 p.m. So if you have a timestamp for that supposed first thing that you retyped at 4:54, I'd be really curious to see, like, if it was 4:49 or something. I'd be really curious to see it. So anyway, for Gorilla and anyone else, yeah, Rapid Dan Dam in Minnesota is in imminent failure condition, officials warn. Blue Earth County Sheriff's Office said the river has cut around the sides of the dam and debris has been accumulating in the water. Breaking news. Yeah. Minnesota faces imminent failure and rising floodwaters. That is not good. The Rapidan Dam in Minnesota is in a precarious state after recent flooding of the Blue Earth River, prompting officials on Monday to warn the public that the structure is in imminent failure condition. The Blue Earth County Sheriff's Office said the river has cut around the sides of the dam and debris has been accumulating in the water. It announced imminent failure condition status and notified those who may be impacted. We do not know if it will totally fail or if it will remain in place. However, we determined it was necessary to issue this notification to advise downstream residents and the correct regulatory agencies and other local agencies, the local sheriff's office said. The dam is located outside the city of Mankato, about 85 miles southwest of Minneapolis. An XL Energy substation located at the dam, which supplies power to about 600 customers, was washed away early Monday morning. The utilities company says its crews are working with local authorities to replace the destroyed substation and get power back to customers. The river level was already high from large amounts of recent rainfall and moving fast when it diverted around the dam near the substation and flowed onto the bank, the company said in a statement. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz spoke at a press conference Monday morning, where he noted that the state received roughly 18 inches of rain over the last few weeks, saturating the ground and leaving the water nowhere else to go. There is potentially more rain incoming. Yeah. There it is. There it is. Yeah. With that being said, the resources are being deployed are strategically out there. Walt said, we're making sure first and foremost, people are safe, protecting property, and protecting public infrastructure. Flooding has impacted roughly 40 counties so far, with some declaring a state of emergency. Walt says the governor said he would move to request a presidential disaster declaration if the damage assessment reached a threshold that required federal assistance. The integrity of the dam appeared to be holding as the morning, but its officials at the press conference said they were very closely monitoring the situation. The Rapid Dam was built in 1910 as an energy source and is managed by the county. Reported flooding over more than a century has caused significant damage to the structure, according to the county's website. 2021 assessment concluded the dam would have to be either repaired or replaced, both of which would be costly endeavors. The county says on its website, however, that to do nothing would pose a public safety concern and a tremendous liability. Repairing the dam would take 4 years, 3 of which would be the planning and design. But a completely new dam would take 10 years, including removal and river restoration, the county says. The county said it was taking feedback from the community as it tried to determine which course of action to take. Well, it seems at this point, they're only going to have one course of action. So, problem solved, guys. Last year, Blue Earth County said it began the process to release its licensor exemption under Federal Energy Regulation Commission, as the damage has inhibited the dam's ability to provide hydroelectricity. And approval would place the dam under control of Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. No changes to the dam structure are being proposed at this time. The county said an informal release. Surrendering the exemption simply means the FERC would no longer have regulatory authority over the dam. Well, yeah. Anyway, good luck. Stay safe up there, Gorilla. It is June 24th, 2004. It is Armed Forces Day in the UK. Eid Gadir is a day of celebration and remembrance for the Shia Muslims all over the world. Speaking of, does anybody remember the show Tyrant? That was a good show. I wish they had gotten more seasons, but it was a little too early to get picked up by Netflix at the time. Had it been a year or two later, probably would have got picked up by Netflix. Tyrant was a great show at the time. You remember it, Mo, right? There was he was a doctor in the United States, and he went back. His wife was American. His kids were American. Yeah. Right. It is Farmer Day, June 24th. Farmer Day. Oh, I thought it was farmers everywhere. Apparently, it's for Peru's farmers. Join us as we thank Peru's farmers for keeping Peruvian markets well stocked. Well, you know what? I think we can also thank the American farmers, the DJs out there, for keeping the American markets well stocked with both soy and corn. It's Holy Spirit Monday. Today, the faithful celebrate the descension of the Holy Spirit. It's International Fairy Day. Time to fill the day with the same enchantment as those of the fairies. And that is a fairy. That is a woman with butterfly wings. International St. John's Day. Sing the hymns and praise the Lord as we celebrate St. John the Baptist. Inti Raymi, not to be confused with the guy who played Egypt. Let's join the residents to celebrate the pivotal aspect of their Incan heritage. Incan heritage on this Inti Raymi Day. Johnny, let's celebrate Johnny, the festival that combines cultures and nature in the spirit of the midsummer. And midsummer is a time of pure merriment with food, drinking, and dancing. Why would it be called midsummer when we're like 2 days after the summer solstice, which is the beginning of the summer? National Lay Day. Join us as we explore the origins of the name Lay and its meaning. L-E, just Ellie. Or is it Ellie? No, that can't be pronounced Ellie. Could it? Or is it Lee? Like that, a short Lee. Lay, Lee, Lay, or Ellie. I don't know. They're all possibilities. My mind is blown. Like Ellie surely has to be E-L-L-Y, right? Or E-L-L-I-E. Can't just be the letter L and the letter E. L-E. National Pralines Day. Pralines are a smooth and sweet treat made with nuts, sugar, and sometimes cream. National Relationship Equity Day. Drop your stereotypes, adopt this new perception, and give your partner equitable treatment. No. It's not for me to give them equitable treatment. Orthodox Pentecost Monday. I'm skipping it. St. John's Day in Venezuela. And Swim a Lap Day. Swimming is the only sport that can help save a life. Dive into to learn more. And Upcycling Day. To avoid wasting items, make a list of everything that can be reused or upcycled. And there's a photo of a water bottle being used, I don't know, hanging from a tree, being used as some sort of planter. It's got shit growing out of it. Like it's half full of water, and you've got stuff growing from it. Like it's some sort of I don't know, some sort of extra, like a small greenhouse that then the seeds then got big enough to grow out of the top of the bottle. It's laying on its side, and I guess somebody cut some holes in it. It's growing. A terrible way of upsizing a plastic bottle. But this Swim a Lap Day, I'm a bit confused. Like the only sport that lets you save a life? That's not true. There's no way. There's no way swimming is the only sport that could help you save a life. Swim a Lap Day is celebrated June 24th each year as the ultimate antidote to the classic summer conundrum. How do I work out without working up a sweat and stay cool at the same time? To the ones for which this may not apply, it's still a day for you, since swimming or just floating is fun for everyone. Since humans are not yet able to fly, swimming is the next best thing. Just think back to the last time you were in the pool or any other water body and felt that weightless feeling of the water just carrying you. If you trip down memory lane is not convincing enough, perhaps the thought of staying cool without having to use extra electricity will appeal to you more. Whatever your reasons for taking a dip, it's a great way to beat the heat and get some exercise in, all while having a splashing good time, especially with those you love. History of Swim a Lap Day. Bible prayer reminds us, if you have your own pool, you're certainly using a lot of electricity. Um, though the origins of Swim-A-Lap Day are as mysterious as the ocean depths, I mean, nobody wanted to look it up. The activity of swimming itself can be traced back several thousand years to the ancient Greeks and Romans. Really? Really, you think the ancient Greeks and Romans were the first people to swim? These civilizations built beautiful artificial pools for training athletes, conducting military exercises, and having a jolly good time too. Evidence can be found in paintings of the time, as well as certain written manuscripts. Some say swimming can be traced as far back as 7,000 years ago, due to pivotal evidence of figures doing breaststroke depicted on a cave wall paintings in Egypt and other places in the Middle East. Still others say the ancient Japanese were the ones who invented it, and long before swimming was a sport in the Western world, the Japanese were holding swim races as early as 36 BC. It was in England in the 1800s that swimming first became a competitive sport, and the first swimming championship took place in Australia in 1846. Back then, we were running from the dingoes, and we'd jump into the ocean and swim from the dingoes. And then we would get bit by jellyfish. So then we'd run back towards the dingoes. And then we'd pull off the jellyfish and throw them at the dingoes. And the dingoes got angry. And then the dingoes made a deal with the Tasmanian devils. And the Tasmanian devils, they would take over, and we pushed the damn devils back to Tasmania. And the Tasmanian tigers, they didn't stop. We had to keep fighting them. To this day, I think we killed every last one. Every last one. You know, some people say they still see a Tasmanian tiger from time to time. Anyway, it became an annual affair, and it was during the 1896 Olympic Games held in Athens that swimming events were first added to the Olympics. The main four styles of swimming are breaststroke, backstroke, freestyle / front crawl, and butterfly stroke. Why not doggy style? God damn it. Another popular swim-related event included in the Olympics is synchronized swimming, which combines aerobics, dance, and swimming skills, and is a treat to watch. To this day, swimming is so popular because age is no bar, and a physical activity, it can cater to a variety of purposes, to relax, exercise, or rehabilitate. It's no wonder then that the swimming has remained popular throughout the ages and across the world. It also makes sense that this sport is celebrated for everything that it brings to our lives. Captain Phantom Nerd says, do not tell DC I never stay when I make a song request. He always says to stay if you can't stay. I got you, Captain. I got you. Yeah, I don't like it either. I never request special treatment. If I put in a super chat, I'll listen on the replay. I'm not going to ask him to go look for the super chat. Stanley says Devils or Rangers. For me, I would pick Rangers because the Rangers are at least a New York team, where the Devils are a New Jersey team. Mike Richards. Next on PBS, those damn dingoes. Or Islanders, says Stanley. Well, that's a tough one. Rangers and Islanders, those people, they do not get along. They're either one or the other. Let's see. Mike Richards is lolling, no problem. 54.5 Access Radio. There's no brown on the rainbow. Sounds racist to me. Mike Richards says it was right after Alex Bogey's super chat. No timestamps on his phone. Alex Bogey super chat. Okay. It's not here for me. It's not here for me, Mike Richards. I'm on live chat, so I should see all the chats. Stan Lee came up before Alex Bogey super chat. Said, would people steal the page from every copy? Bird bringing home the bread. And then there's the super chat. And then after that, Stan Lee says, Stream Wars. And Alex Bogey says, which topic would be too much for you? And Captain Phantom Nerd says, Bird, I always listen on replay. I go there pre-show to ask. So I read the rest of those. So it didn't show up. It did not show up. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, I'll be doing an update tonight. Okay, Gorilla, stay safe. Last Son of K says, Mankato mentioned often in the TV series Little House on the Prairie. Mankato. Alex Bogey says Mankato was Little House on the Prairie. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says Alex Bogey, I am 10 miles from the town named after Laura Ingalls Wilder. Alex Bogey says, Gorilla, yep, that was Plum Creek. Gorilla says, Wilder is the one that he's talking about. Alex Bogey says, who cares about Minnesota? They are the center of the BLM terrorism. This disaster might help beat out the Great Pretender. Um, well, we don't want to see, unlike the people who might be against us, we don't want to see our fellow countrymen wiped out by natural disasters. We don't want to see anyone be hurt by a dam or anything of the like. Okay, that is too much. That is too much. Alex Bodie says, Gorilla, I'm only in season 2. Last Seneca says, all the towns that weren't Minneapolis mentioned in Little House are basically still there. Obviously, not still like they were shown in the show, of course. Alex Bogey says, I wonder if they do tours of the show's location. Gorilla says they do. They do. Alex Bogey says, ironic that was the state that was so religious that was first taken over by the far left in 1972. Minnesota was the only state not to vote for Nixon. And in 1984, they were the only state not to vote for Reagan. Last set of cases, but you can tell in the series that it was filmed in California. Too many large, almost mountainous hills for the plain state like Minnesota. Alex Bogey says, Captain Phantom Nerd, need Hollywood fooled those who haven't been like me. Lol. Stanley says, Devils or Rangers. Rangers, yeah. Or Islanders. Well, I like the color of the Rangers better, but I've been to an Islander game. I don't think I was ever at a Rangers game. I was actually at maybe 2 Islander games. The Islanders were very close to my college. The Nassau Coliseum was only like 5 minutes away from Hofstra University. We used to pass the Coliseum literally 2 or 3 times a day when I was traveling around Nassau County. So wound up there just by chance sometimes. Stanley says, you think it would be sexier, but driving is hotter than synchronized. Diving is hotter than synchronized, yeah. Stanley says, did you know that Klobby guy? I knew of him, Stanley. I knew of him enough that I didn't say a lot but I was watching his memorial service on Sunday. For those who didn't know, Clobbering Time passed away. I'm sure for those who knew him, you already knew he passed away last week. And on Sunday, they did his family did a memorial service that and a lot of people went to in person, but for those who couldn't go in person, they had it. They streamed it on his channel. It was very sad, but you know, I felt like I needed to pay my respects, and I feel like I did that. I was there. I watched. I saw a lot of people come and go, and people talk about just how wonderful a man he was. And we lost a friend. We lost a friend of the community. But no, to be honest, Stanley, I kind of wish I knew him better. He I think he probably knew who I was, like I knew who he was. But I didn't know him nearly as well. I didn't know Clobbering nearly as well as I knew Cardinal Sin. But I knew of him. Mike Richards is never mind YouTube shenanigans. Last on the cases that shocked me. I knew of Clobby, but wasn't a subscriber or even an occasional viewer, but had seen the other streams he had appeared on. Yeah, that would probably be closer to me. Gorilla says the red areas of the states that's flooded. It's the red areas of the states that flooded, to Alex. Gorilla says, Laston, we do have some hills like those here. To Last Son, we do have some hills like those mountains. Last Son of case, of course, Gorilla, every state's areas outside of the major cities are red, with only a few exceptions. Stan Lee says, yeah, I just had seen him on random live streams. Dad Man Walking says, hail, Berto Prey. Hail, Dad Man Walking. Hakeem says, he came to this stream one time. Did he? Well, shit. That's unfortunate because I hope I was nice to him. I don't see why I wouldn't have been, but I don't. Unfortunately, I don't recall Um, Stanley says, life's a bitch, and then you die. That's what you get. That's what we get high, because you never knew. You never know when you're gonna go. You know, that's all the more reason for me to not get high. But whatever, whatever you feel you need to do, you do. We've been doing this talking this entire time with swim a lap day up. Son of a bitch. Ah, God damn. God fucking damn. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Do a news check. Uh, 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 Here's how to finally get a refund from New York City's Electric Zoo 2023. I don't, I don't think. Oh, and there's the Rapid Dan in Minnesota is in fact national news. There it is. It's an imminent failure condition. Still, flooding causes Rapid Dam in southern Minnesota to fail. Nearby residents urged to evacuate. Big changes coming for your Amazon deliveries. What's going on? What's going on with our deliveries? Oh, Alabama. Amazon packages wait to be loaded into electric vehicles. In your Amazon delivery. It's ditching all air pillow packaging. The online mega retailer announced last week it is ditching all air pillow packaging in favor of recycled paper filler for North American deliveries. It's the largest plastic package reduction effort in North America. Amazon said it's expected to eliminate nearly 15 billion plastic air pillows annually. Amazon has already been replacing roughly 95% of its plastic pillows from delivery packaging, and it's working towards full removal by the end of the year. We are constantly inventing and thinking of big, make our packaging small. We want to ensure customers receive their items undamaged while using as little packaging as possible to avoid waste, prioritizing recyclable materials, the company said in a statement. Deliveries for this year's Prime Day, dates of which haven't been announced, will be made with recycled paper filler. Amazon said testing on the paper filler showed that it offered the same, if not better, protection for packaging than the plastic pillows. The paper is also curbside recyclable, making it easier for customers to recycle at home. Not for us. Not for us. Bitcoin and Coinbase drops. My crypto bears must watch this level. Screen Rant. I'm sorry that Leonard may be dead, but at least it allows Penny's Big Bang Theory spin-off return. Oh. The Star Trek icon who single-handedly ruined an episode. Michael Burnham? What? Every Star Trek show is an ensemble effort. From cast to crew, it takes an entire village to put an episode together. Normally, that means no one person is responsible for an episode failing. Sadly, Alexander Siddig is the exception to this rule, as he single-handedly ruined the DS9 episode, The Passenger, in a number of different ways. The Passenger. At this point, you're probably asking, how the heck Alexander Siddig could have single-handedly ruined The Passenger? Initially, it seemed like this was going to be a showcase episode for the young actor. The plot involved a villain who could hot bodies, and the major reveal of the episode was that the alien was now cruising around in Bashir's body and putting the entire station in danger. This was going to be a big deal for Alexander Siddig because he was going to play both a main character as well as a mustache-twirling villain. He was so under imminent pressure because his character had been written for people to deliberately unlike at first, giving him a proper arc where he could grow into someone lovable. Audiences hated Bashir, though, and when Paramount wanted to fire Siddig due to audience reaction, producer Rick Berman had to personally step in and protect him. Unfortunately, the actor took some big chances in The Passenger, all of which seemed to blow up in his face. For example, he tried to do a different voice when his character was possessed, and producer Rick Berman later revealed that possessed Bashir sounded too much like Bela Lugosi. This resulted in them having Alexander Siddig redub his own lines. And while Burnham insists the final result was fine, he acknowledged that the producers worried whether the re-edit would look good or not. Additionally, then showrunner Michael Piller also thought a particular Siddig moment completely ruined The Passenger. He later said, if you look carefully, there's a frame of Bashir just after you've heard the voice of the dead guy, and Bashir's reaction basically blows the whole show out of the water. However, Piller really didn't blame the actor, noting that the scene simply wasn't shot properly and that it ruins the whole episode when you see it. Interesting, even Alexander Siddig has admitted that his work on The Passenger was subpar. He once claimed that this episode was his biggest failure, though he believes part of the problem was that he only given the script for the episode the day before shooting began. That gave him very little preparation time. He was nervous because this early into the show, he didn't really know the cast and crew that well. Looking back at the first season of Deep Space Nine, we're a tad surprised that Alexander is so hard on The Passenger and his own contributions. Sure, it's rough in the same way most season 1 episodes are, but no one would call this the worst stinker of the season. That's an honor reserved for Move Along Home. And its weaknesses aren't really the fault of the actors. Siddig may have gone a little arch for his turn as a villain, but as Cisco might remind him, it's important to take the big swings even when you don't always hit the ball. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch The Passenger. Okay. Um, uh, CBS reportedly boxed out of new Big East media right deals. U.S. on schedule with race with China to land people on the moon. OpenAI buys remote collaboration program. Death is cheap on House of the Dragon. The national debt is over $34 trillion. It's time to tell the truth about the US. The truth is, they know the aliens are coming and we're never going to have to pay back the money. So don't worry about it. We can spend it like there's no tomorrow, because guess what? There's no tomorrow. Win, win, win. That's why all of our presidents, they come in and they leave with white hair. They know what's coming. Except for one. They didn't tell him. Boeing Starliner issues leave astronauts stranded in space. That sucks. Yeah, I'm going up for 14 days. You know. How do you tell that to your astronauts? Like, hey guys, you know how you wanted to go home? Eventually. Yeah. Change of plans. We're gonna stay on the space station. Yeah, there's not enough food or water. And I know you didn't take anything with you because you were just going for a couple of weeks. But yeah, you're gonna be there for a while. Stan Lee says Nass sang it better. Lol. Gap after dark. Says Qapla bird. Hello all. Qapla Gap. Gap says hey to Dad Man, Hakeem, Stan, Last Son of K, and Gorilla. Everybody's saying hello to each other. It's not a Karogan dam that's failing Gap. Gorilla says, hey, the Gap. Hakeem says he came during the time when Terry Farrell said she likes Michael Burnham, and we were talking about it. Oh, that wasn't all that long ago. Huh. It wasn't all that long ago in the scheme of things. You have a good memory, Hakeem. Stanley says any styrofoam peanuts are already illegal. Probably. Gab says you're staying away from the flooded. Stay away from the flood, Gorilla. Be safe. Gab After Dark says, yeah, well, Amazon better think about about that when they ship action figures and pack them without getting crushed by putting them in an envelope. Let's see how this works out. Gorilla says, Gap, I was sandbagging. Uh-oh. LDG says, possessed Bashir was a joke. Gap is saying, hey, to LDG. LDG says, but better than having a bad dream, Bashir, and move along home. Or any Bashir and move along home, actually, says LDG. Stanley says a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. Mike Richards says Emperor Zoltar denies any involvement in this invasion nonsense. Captain Phantom Nerd says, hey. Outlaw Bill says Qapla, brother warrior. Birdo Bray 5, and all should hail Karoga. Gorilla says, hey, Captain. Gorilla says, gotta go. They called for VO. VO. Is that some sort of, I guess that's some sort of evacuation? I don't know. But be safe, Gorilla. Be safe. Gap says, hey, to Outlaw Bill. Says hello to LDG. Gorilla says, sandbaggers, so delay on update. Gap says, teabagging Gorilla. And Outlaw Bill says, I still have high blood pressure, says my doctor. Well, that's that can happen. It's sometimes it takes multiple medications, Bill. Let's check. And we do not have any deer bops today, which is fine. Which is all good and fine because it's Monday. You know, we did get to them on Friday, so no worries. Outlaw Bill says I'm getting prescriptions for high blood pressure. Yeah, well, it's the good news, Bill, is that there are lots of medications for high blood pressure, and they're usually pretty good. They work, generally they work well, and they don't have a whole lot of side effects. And if you find one that does, they can just give you a different one that probably doesn't. So. Best wishes, Bill. The Random Menaces fun fact, here in Slovakia, you can select if you want air cushions or paper shreds for ecology and you pay 20 cents for the paper, plastic being free. And the mess the eco wrapping causes. So you can choose if you wanted the plastic or pay extra for the paper. So I guess they're just charging us the extra and giving us the paper. Whatever. I I I can see. I don't mind giving up plastic. I don't mind giving up plastic over paper for packages. It doesn't bother me. I get it. But God damn it. Give me back my straws. Give me back my plastic straws. That was too far. Way too far. So anyway. That'll be it. That we'll call it a day here, guys. So thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Friday, we'll be back. Hopefully, we'll see. And I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get something else done during the week. We'll see. Qapla all. Thanks for hanging out. Bird out. Farewell from Columbus, Ohio. Thank you, Mike Richards. Gap After Dark says, have a good one, everybody. And Stanley says, take it easy.